So you're in your car, you're getting off the highway, and you pull up to the stoplight. And when you get to the light, you see a young man, and he's got a sign. And the sign says, "No food, no home. I just lost my job. Can you help?" And as you're considering whether you roll down your window and share some of your change, I would suspect that part of your decision is based on whether you see this situation as a failure of the young man, or does this represent a failure of society? This situation and many situations like this is representative of one of the bigger debates in social difference in education. And that's this debate between agency and structure. The main idea behind individual agency is that our choices, our life's directions, our decisions are completely guided by our own abilities, our decisions, our wishes, and our desires, that we have complete control over the direction that we take throughout our lives. The structural argument is that the social structures around us limit the choices or the degree of the choices and decisions that we can make in our lives. So for example, the institutions that we belong to, whether it's education or governments or the legal system and so on, they might be even smaller than that. So for example, our families, our culture that surrounds us, our communities, but even more micro and invisible than that. So for example, norms, values that are enmeshed in our culture in things like gender, race, ethnicity, religion, these types of things that guide our behaviors and our direction in life, that these can be so powerful that for all intents and purposes, it highly diminishes any abilities of our individual agency. Now, for some of you, this might be a new concept, thinking about the degree that structures compete with individual agency in guiding the forces of your life. Others of you, I suspect, have thought about this deeply, how it's influenced your life, maybe that of students in the classroom as well. One way to push our thinking on this continuum is to imagine that we were born and live in a completely different environment with completely different social structures. So imagine, for example, you were born in an entirely different location in the world. You were born into a different family, in a different community. The weather patterns were different. The environment was different. You grew up in a country very different than Canada, with different rules, different government, different norms in place. You grew up with different family expectations. You hung out with different friends that conditioned your life. How much would this affect the person you are today? In fact, would the person that you were in this hypothetical situation even resemble the person you are today at all?